Look, there's so many YouTubers out here all pushing the new business model that you need to get into, this new SMMA model, this new coaching business. Most of it's bullshit, okay? What you need to understand is what makes a specific business model good or bad, how to design one, and how to innovate one, okay? And so most people start an agency or a coaching business without even putting any actual thought into what the business model they're partaking in is. Okay. And so when it comes to your business model, there's 4 growth factors that you need to consider. These are the only 4 things you should be thinking about. The first one is the market you're serving. The second one is distribution. How are you going to get your product to people? How are you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? The third one is high gross margins. You're going to make money off of what you're selling, or else there's no fucking point in selling it. The fourth one is network effects, which I'm going to go deeper into this video. And there's 2 main things you want to avoid. These are growth limiters. Okay. The first one is lack of product market fit. What is the point of having a great product or service if nobody wants it? Okay, make sure that the actual market you're selling to wants it, or else you're going to look like a fucking dummy trying to sell it. And the second one is operational scalability. You might have a good product or service, but what's the point of selling it if it takes like fucking 50 VAs from India to fulfill it? Okay, you need to actually be able to scale what you're selling. And so these 6 factors are the main thing you should be thinking about when designing your business model. And you also want to get luckier with every second that goes by. You should be getting luckier with every second that goes by. And in order to do so, you need to be in the right business model. And so how do you get luckier with every second that goes by? It's by leveraging network effects. Okay. And so if you don't know what that even is, a product or service is subject to positive network effects when increased usage by any user increases the value of the product or service for other users. So basically you have your product or service, and the more people that buy it, the more valuable it becomes, because more data points you have, more people you have, in the ecosystem. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Okay. And what I mean is that there's 5 different categories of network effects. Okay. And it all depends on what you're selling, what type of product or service it is, and the business model that you're running. And so the first one is direct network effects. This is mainly for, social platforms, let's say Facebook, messaging apps, etc. The more people you have using it, the more users you have, the more valuable it is. Okay. Because who the fuck would use Facebook or Instagram if nobody was on the platform? Okay, so you have to think about that. The second one is indirect network effects. This is most likely not going to apply to you, but this is things like the adoption of an operating system, or whether you're building on top of specific APIs, etc. This is more so for the software world, where, more so for open source things, where if somebody is building on top of something, or somebody's using something, where they can provide feedback, and the more feedback you have, the more you can improve it. The other one is 2-sided network effects. Think about Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. These are buyers and sellers. Nobody would be using Craigslist if there's nobody, or you wouldn't be buying stuff on Craigslist if there's nobody selling stuff on Craigslist, and you wouldn't be selling stuff on Craigslist if there's nobody buying stuff on Craigslist. Okay. Fourth one is local network effects. This is the number of nearby users increases value opposed to number of total users. So you don't really care about how many total users you have. You just care about how many users in your area you have. Okay. And then the one that we're going to be leveraging the most is data network effects. A service improves as more data is generated. Please understand that. As service providers, data network effects are what we're going to be leveraging the most. Okay. And it's very simple. How it works is you get a client result, whether it's good or bad. Ideally, you want it to be good, or else nobody buying the shitty product. And then you put in data on what specifically caused the specific outcome that happened. Okay. And it's a feedback loop. It's a flywheel. Okay. And so your product should focus on collecting data and insights from every client, so that you're constantly improving it. The more clients you have, the more data you have, the better your product will be. And so how do you actually leverage data to solve problems? The first way is information. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this, but I'm just going to show you it anyways. The way you solve it with information is mentorship, course, or coaching. And so if you're running a front-end coaching model, this is how I would structure it, but I'm going to show you the problem that comes with this. So your avatar is going to be facing a problem, and the way you're going to solve this problem for them is with your coaching product, your mentorship, whatever the information product may be. Charge 2 to 10K upfront. Unless you have a strong brand, probably not going to be charging 8 to 10K, but if you have a strong brand, then it's definitely possible. And then once the first problem is solved, they're going to encounter a second problem. And the way you want to solve the second problem is by providing systems, talent, or insights. And, you can charge 5 to 20K, depending on how good it is. And then that should solve that second problem. And now they're going to face a third problem, which is where you want to solve it with a leveraged recurring service, where you're going to charge a cheap monthly retainer. You want to downsell them on that. And so, for example, let's say that my avatar is facing client acquisition problems. I'm going to coach them on how to get clients, how to, solve client acquisition. And then once they've solved client acquisition, they're probably going to be facing, fulfillment issues, systems, stuff like that. Okay. Internal stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I can place the systems, talent, and insights to solve those problems. And then from there, they're probably going to need somebody to manage those systems, talents, and insights that I placed for them. And that's where I can charge them, 1 to 5K per month for this leveraged recurring service. Okay. And so there's one big problem with this model that nobody talks about. You know, everyone's always pushing, oh, coaching, do this, do coaching, do one-on-one. The thing is, people very rarely get results. It's kind of dog shit, okay? Because the truth is, people are fucking lazy, bro. And if you're, you know, when you're doing coaching or mentorship, you're just telling them what to do. You're not actually doing it for them. And so, as you know, people are lazy. And nobody's gonna fucking use your information and execute, or actually execute it how it needs to be executed, okay? And so the success rate for information products is very low. And by selling information, you aren't solving any problems. You're just giving the information necessary to solve the problem. But at the end of the day, it's still up to the person and their levels of execution to solve the problem with the tools that you have given them. Okay, and truth is, most people are fucking stupid, and if you give them even if you give them good information and you walk them step by step, they're still gonna, you know, kind of fuck up. Okay, and so how I would recommend you do it is a mix of done for you and done with you. Okay, and so this is talent, systems, and insights, and the way you would do this and how you structure this is essentially just cut out the coaching part, okay? Cut out the mentorship part. And so whenever your avatar is facing problem number one, let's say, you just go right into placing the systems, talent, and insights to solve problem number one for them, okay? And then that's going to create a new problem for them, which you solve by placing a leverage recurring service or doing a leverage recurring service for them in their business, okay? And so what happens when you cut out the coaching and information aspect is that you're going to see a higher success rate. So because you're actually doing part of it for them and you're doing it in a leveraged way, I wouldn't recommend you just do a done for you monthly retainer. That's kind of fucking stupid. What I'd recommend is you just place the systems, talents, and insights, place the infrastructure needed for them to succeed, place it into their business. And so from there, they actually have a tangible asset that solves a problem for them. And then you can leverage, manage the asset or keep consulting them or whatever the case may be. So you're going to see a higher success rate. You're going to be collecting most of the lifetime value up front, because the thing with business is you want to collect as much cash as you can up front so you can outspend your competition. Because when you're running a normal agency, a monthly retainer, you're 2K per month, 2K per month, 2K per month. It takes so fucking long to collect all the money. Depending on how long they stay, you're gonna collect as much as possible up front so you can take that money, hire a team, and then outspend your competition. And then it's also easier to outsource. The thing with coaching and mentorship is that unless you have some A players, some fucking gangsters on your team, you're gonna be the one coaching and you're gonna be the one doing the mentorship, which is very time consuming. Okay. And so the thing with placing systems, talents, and insights right away is that it's easier to outsource, and you can, if you document it well enough, you can get it running like a well-oiled machine. Okay, and so that's the beauty of placing an asset into people's business. So remember the two growth limiters, which was lack of product market fit and operational scalability. Selling information is very tight on both of these, okay? You're very limited when it comes to, so for example, lack of product market fit. When you're selling information is so incredibly abundant that unless you have a strong brand, it's very hard to sell it. And then when you are selling information, it's very hard to charge a lot for it, okay? To charge a lot of money for information, because so many people are creating so much free content online. Like, think about Hermosi. This dude is giving out like $10 million worth of content every day. Okay, not every day, like every week, every month. I don't know why I said 10 million, random number, but Hermosi, 3 years ago, you had Sam Ovens, Iman Gadzhi, Ty Lopez, all charging a couple grand for courses. If you try doing that nowadays, unless you have an extremely strong brand, it's going to be very hard. Okay, so it's very hard to sell information unless you have a very strong brand, which takes time to build. Okay, and even when you do have a strong brand, why would you resort to selling information when you can make a lot more money off of, selling something tangible? And so when it comes to operational scalability, like I said, the thing with information is that most of the time you're the one that's going to be doing the coaching calls, the one-on-one mentoring, unless you record a course and you sell that course, which is going to be hard to sell because a course, an evergreen course, isn't that appealing anymore. But if you're doing like some live one-on-one mentoring or whatever, it's going to be hard to scale that up, because in order to scale that up, one, you either do more mentoring, coaching calls, or two, you have to replicate yourself, find someone with the same information as you to provide the value on the calls, which is, once again, pretty fucking hard, bro. And so the front-end infrastructure model destroys the coaching model in both of the categories. And so I want to talk about something that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, and this is something that I hope is going to blow your mind. This is pretty crazy, and this is something called Moore's Law. Okay, and so basically what Moore's Law is it's a fundamental principle that puts the silicon in Silicon Valley. And so in 1965, Gordon Moore observed that the number of transistors that could be crammed onto the surface of a silicon chip appeared to double each year. And you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? Trust me, stick with me. And so today Moore's Law no longer refers to specifically specifically to transistor density. Rather, it predicts that computing power tends to double every 18 months. Perhaps in the future, Moore's law will be met by quantum computing, optical chips, the use of DNA, or something impossible to foresee. Moore's law matters because the relentless increase in computing power that it predicts acts as a constant source of the technological innovation. And please remember this, that technology innovation enables business model innovation. Okay, and the best entrepreneurs don't just follow Moore's law, they anticipate it. And so think about Reed Hastings. He's a co-founder and CEO of Netflix. When he started Netflix, his long-term vision was to provide television on demand. But back in 1997, television on demand via the internet. Back in 1997, technology wasn't ready for that. That seemed impossible. But he understood Moore's law, and he understood that the concept, the rule that computing power tends to double every 18 months. That one day it will be possible. And so he anticipated, and that's what allowed him to create the big empire that Netflix is. And so if you didn't quite understand what Moore's law is, this is basically what it means. So in 1965, it basically said that the number of transistors in chips would double every year. And so it kept doubling. And then now it's changed to computing power instead of transistors. And so basically what it says that the computing power doubles every 18 months. Okay, and so 18 months from now, we'll have double the computing power that we have now. And this means that we'll have essentially double the technological innovation that we can leverage opposed to now. And so you need to anticipate it. Okay. In the future, it might be quantum computing that doubles every 12, 18 months, whatever the case may be. But just know that technology is innovating very rapidly and very quickly, and you need to anticipate it. Okay. The reason why I put this is because the more technologically oriented your solution is, the better. And productizing your service is also key to making the delivery of your service as leveraged as possible. Okay, and so we just launched our brand new AI Scaling Specialist School Community completely for free, where we're going to be teaching you how to separate yourself from the red ocean markets by positioning yourself as somebody who scales businesses by selling an AI scaling system. It's the first link in the description. It's completely for free. Okay, if you got any insights from this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.